The coming presidential election in 2024 will most likely be Joe Biden against Donald Trump. This is very unusual because for the first time in your lifetime, you will be choosing between two people who have already been president. Both people have an actual track record we can compare. So here's the question. Was your life better under one president, or was the country falling apart? Joe Biden has now been in office for 3 years. So I wanted to take a moment and review Joe Biden's top 10 failures. Now let me tell you, this was a very difficult video to make because Joe Biden has more like 100 failures. But if I was forced to decide and narrow it down to only 10, these would be my top 10. So here's what I want you to do. As I go through this list, leave a comment down below and let me know if your life was better during Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Number 10, Afghanistan withdrawal. In August 2021, Joe Biden withdrew from Afghanistan, leaving behind $7 billion in equipment. This includes aircraft, air-to-ground munitions, military vehicles, weapons, communications equipment, and other materials. Wait a minute. Aircraft? We did not even fly out the aircraft? How easy would that have been? In fact, the aircraft alone was 78 aircraft worth $923.3 million. What a failure! Not only that, the American weapons left behind have started showing up in other conflicts around the world. The Taliban are getting rich from selling U.S. arms on the black market. Everything about the Afghanistan withdrawal has been a horrible Joe Biden failure. Number 9, giving $6 billion to Iran. This really makes me upset. Joe Biden gives $6 billion to Iran, and immediately after, Hamas, who is funded by Iran, attacks Israel. Now, I made a whole video on this situation if you want to know the horrible details, but just in general, why would we give $6 billion to Iran? When this first happened, the Biden administration claimed that they would somehow track how all the money was spent so that Iran could not spend any of it on terrorism. But just last week, Iran withdrew the first amounts of money, and when reporters asked what the money was used for, no one could say. Here is John Kirby, the U.S. National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications, on Thursday.
John, Iran made 2 transactions withdrawing from the previously frozen funds in Oman. What were those transactions for?
I don't have the details on that, Jackie. You're going to have to let me get back to you on that.
Okay. I'd let the office know before that I was looking for this question, so I hope to get one today.
Sorry.
Okay, I'll come back to you with that.
Sure, of course.
This is insane. We give Iran $6 billion. We have no idea what it's being used for. Why are we doing this? Iran is currently, right now, holding U.S. citizens as hostages on fake charges. They are a vocal enemy of the U.S. This was a horrible failure by Joe Biden and directly led to the attack on Israel. Number 8, Hunter Biden. Okay, where do I even start? Honestly, I feel sorry for Hunter, because when you look at the drug addiction of both him and his sister, Ashley Biden, it seems likely that Joe Biden was a horrible father to them growing up. And the scandals keep getting worse. In the indictment released in December, the IRS went through Hunter Biden's bank records and showed that between 2016 and 2019, he spent $872,000 on hookers, porn, and sex club memberships, and then deducted it as business expenses on his tax returns. I can't even wrap my head around this. How do you spend that much money on prostitutes? What are they even doing? And isn't this the same person who went to court claiming that he could not afford to pay child support for his kid? This is clearly blatantly illegal. If anyone else did this on their taxes, they would be thrown in jail. But for some reason, not Hunter Biden, he was subpoenaed to testify in front of Congress, and he refused to show up. Again, clearly blatantly illegal. And then there is all the evidence that keeps coming out about the illegal foreign influence peddling, including 10% for the big guy. I don't understand why Joe Biden does not just pardon his son at this point. The scandal's not going to go away. This whole situation is another horrible Joe Biden failure. Number 7, cocaine in the White House. We all remember when a bag of cocaine was found at the White House. I just have one question. Was it Joe Biden's cocaine? I really would not be surprised at this point. The Secret Service says they have no idea whose cocaine it was, but no one really believes that. It turns out, from documents that were revealed in November, that the Secret Service did find DNA evidence. Jesse Waters from Fox News broke the story that 3 tubes of DNA were processed and moved to an evidence vault for preservation. Why did the White House lie about having DNA evidence? And whose DNA is it? Why won't they tell us? It looks likely that they do know exactly whose cocaine it was, and they're lying about it. Cocaine in the White House is another horrible Joe Biden failure. Number 6, open borders. For some strange reason, Joe Biden is doing nothing to protect the U.S. border. Illegal immigrants continue to walk across the border in record numbers. They're given free housing, free plane tickets, and in some cases, free prepaid debit cards. Just last month, there were record border crossings with a total of 12,600 encounters within 24 hours. Just so you understand what that means, at that rate, we will have 18.4 million illegal immigrants every 4 years, which is more than the population of 48 out of 50 states. I do not understand why more people are not furious about this. Joe Biden is intentionally ignoring the border laws of this country. This is another massive failure by Joe Biden. Number 5, inflation. People are really struggling. The economy is horrible. I keep seeing people post videos about how they cannot afford rent and groceries. Inflation is out of control, and so are gas prices. I get so furious about this because this is all avoidable. I don't think a lot of people realize this. Joe Biden could do things to bring down gas prices overnight, and he chooses not to do it. It's called drill, baby, drill. But he won't do it because of the global warming hoax. That's right, I said it. I do not believe in global warming. I have seen too many examples where companies and governments are screwing people over based on global warming when the data is not conclusive. If global warming is a real thing, why do both Barack Obama and Joe Biden live in beach houses? Why? Wouldn't they be worried about rising sea levels washing their houses away? They obviously aren't because they are lying to you. The result is the pain that you are feeling every time you go to the grocery store. It makes me so angry. And this is another horrible failure by Joe Biden. So that was the first 6 failures of Joe Biden. I will cover the final 4 failures in part 2 of this video. Unfortunately, part 2 covers topics that are too spicy to post on my YouTube channel. Isn't it crazy that I cannot post the top 4 failures of Joe Biden on social media without being censored? YouTube has been around for a long time, and this was never an issue for past presidential elections. But for some reason, you cannot criticize Joe Biden on the most critical issues of the day without your channel getting shut down. Luckily, I have my own website that is censorship-free, and I can say whatever I want. If you want to hear what I really think in an uncensored video, part 2 is available for members only on my website at wolvesandfinance.com, and I've put a link in the description down below this video. The best way to support this channel is to sign up to be a member. For $6 a month, it helps me to survive when my videos get shadow banned and allows me to continue posting the truth. I'm Zach from Wolves in Finance. Thank you for watching.